Hello, sweet soul. Let me ask you something quietly. Have you ever been angry at yourself? Not just disappointed, but truly mad for not leaving sooner, for saying too much, or for staying silent when your heart was screaming? For trusting the wrong person, for not listening to your intuition, for loving too hard, or not loving yourself enough? If you're nodding, even just a little inside, this space is for you. Because this episode isn't about forgiving someone else. It's about the one person most of us never even think to forgive, ourselves. And I want to gently say something that might feel hard to believe right now. You are not a mistake. You are not beyond repair. You are not defined by your worst moment. You are allowed to grow, and that growth begins with one thing: self-forgiveness. So wherever you are, walking, lying down, staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, let yourself arrive here. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be okay. You only need to be willing to soften, to feel, to listen to the part of you that still longs to be held by you. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to offer grace to someone else? How we comfort friends when they're hurting, say you did the best you could, hold space for their messy humanity. But when it comes to ourselves, we replay it over and over, like a punishment loop, a sentence with no end date. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to someone we love, cruel things, sharp things, silent things that pierce even deeper. And we think we deserve it, because somehow, we've convinced ourselves that being hard on ourselves makes us more responsible, more good, more accountable. But love, that's not accountability. That's emotional self-harm in disguise. You don't grow by shaming yourself. You grow by understanding yourself. There are so many reasons why self-forgiveness feels impossible sometimes. Maybe one of these sounds familiar. You blame yourself for a moment. You didn't act fast enough. You regret trusting someone who hurt you. You feel weak for staying in a place that drained your soul. You've told yourself, if I had just been stronger, smarter, less emotional. So instead of healing, you punish. You punish with silence, with self-doubt, with replaying the story on repeat in your head, as if, somehow, it'll make the outcome different. But here's what no one told you. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's remembering without punishing. It's saying, yes, this happened, and I still deserve love. Self-forgiveness is difficult because it requires facing the shame we've buried. It forces us to sit with our imperfections instead of fixing them. And sometimes, deep down, we believe we have to stay hurting in order to make up for what we did or didn't do. But sweet soul, that's not justice. That's self-abandonment. You don't have to keep hurting to prove you care. You don't have to keep bleeding to show that it mattered. You're allowed to grieve and grow. There's something else too, something a little softer. Sometimes we don't forgive ourselves because we're afraid that if we let ourselves off the hook, we'll forget the lesson. We think pain is the only thing that keeps us honest. But what if love did that too? What if understanding kept you aligned, not guilt? What if gentleness was what helped you evolve, not harshness? What if the real transformation came from finally saying, I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. I see my mistake, and I'm learning. I am more than the worst thing I've done. That kind of forgiveness, it's not an excuse. It's a coming home, to truth, to wholeness, to you. It's peeling off the shame you've worn for too long, and choosing to wear tenderness instead. You are not perfect. None of us are, but you are still worthy. You are still allowed to begin again. Let's pause here, just for a breath. You've carried this weight long enough. In the next part, we'll gently explore how shame traps us, and how to finally step out of its shadow. There once was a little girl who stood in front of a mirror. Not just any mirror, but the kind that shows you more than your reflection. It shows you your heart. And every time she looked, she didn't see her smile, or her sparkle, or her softness. She only saw what others had told her. You talk too much, you're too sensitive, you should have known better, you messed it up. So she started hiding. She stopped laughing loudly, stopped trusting her intuition, stopped believing she was lovable unless she was perfect. And the more she hid, the less she recognized the girl in the mirror. One day, many years later, she returned, older now, quieter, heavier with memory. She looked at the mirror and asked, "Can you still see me?" And for the first time, the mirror didn't show flaws or shame or guilt. It showed her as she truly was, soft, strong, still learning, still worthy. She didn't need to become someone else to be loved. She just needed to forgive the little girl for believing she wasn't. Close your eyes for just a second. No breathing instructions, no pressure, just an invitation. Feel your own presence in this moment, right here now. Place your hand over your heart, not to fix anything, but simply to connect. And say, silently or aloud, "I forgive you. I forgive you for not knowing. I forgive you for how long you carried it. I forgive you for every time you tried and fell. You don't owe me anything, you already survived." Let that whisper echo inside. Let it land softly on the parts of you still hiding, still waiting for permission to feel safe again. This isn't performance. This is a return to softness, to self, to love, the kind that begins and ends with you. What happens? You breathe deeper. You stop flinching at your own reflection. You sleep without guilt humming beneath the silence. You stop apologizing for being yourself. Forgiving yourself isn't a single moment. It's a quiet decision made again and again, to stop bleeding from wounds long healed, to stop punishing the past for not knowing what the future would ask of you. And when you do, your heart doesn't just heal, it expands. Suddenly, love can enter again. Joy returns quietly, like an old friend you thought forgot you, and you don't become someone new, you become you, without the shame. So tonight, if your inner voice softens just a little, if you hear yourself say, "I'm trying," and that's enough, then you're already healing. You don't have to do it all today. Just begin, and begin again tomorrow, because the one person who deserves your forgiveness the most has always been you.